Imagine waking up in absolute darkness, where your breath freezes in midair and your eyelashes grow stiff with ice. You step outside and everything you see, from the snow-crusted path to the frozen windows, is illuminated by a pale, eerie light, as if the mere act of breathing has crystallized the world around you. This isn't a dream or a Hollywood set. It's Oymyakon, a remote settlement in eastern Siberia, often called the Pole of Cold, and it is the coldest inhabited place on Earth. Positioned in a deep, bowl-shaped valley surrounded by jagged mountains, this small village regularly experiences winter temperatures colder than any place outside Antarctica. So cold, in fact, that the mercury on thermometers frequently drops below -89.9 degrees Fahrenheit, or -67.7 degrees Celsius. Named by the indigenous Evenki people for the hot springs that bubble year-round, Oymakon's irony lies in its icy extremes. It shares its title with nearby Verkhoyansk, another Siberian settlement in the Sakha Republic, and the debate continues about which holds the more extreme record. Scientific readings highlight the interplay of geography and climate. This is a deeply continental region, locked in by the immense Siberian high, a persistent high-pressure air mass that traps freezing air in the valley. The winds are light, the skies are often clear, and daylight in midwinter lasts only 3 to 4 hours, while nights stretch into never-ending 21-hour darkness. Temperatures during winter commonly hover between -50 to -60 degrees Fahrenheit. That's -40 to -50 degrees Celsius. Summers, however, are astonishingly hot by comparison, touching +86 degrees Fahrenheit or +30 degrees Celsius. Some years have seen swings of well over 140 degrees Fahrenheit between seasons, a staggering display of weather extremes unmatched almost anywhere else on Earth. In 1933, a recorded low of -89.9 degrees Fahrenheit was measured in Tomtor, a weather station a few miles from Oymyakon proper. That moment made headlines around the world and solidified Oymyakon's reputation. Though Antarctica's Vostok station still holds the absolute cold record, Oymyakon has earned a mantle of notoriety as the most inhospitable populated place on land. Yet amidst this ice-bound theater, a community endures. Oymyakon today hosts around 500 permanent residents, down from a mid-20th century peak of over 2,000 people. That decline illustrates the shift in demographics. But those who stay treat cold not as a deterrent, but as a defining feature, an identity. Their daily lives are a complex blend of tradition, engineering, routine, and mutual trust. Waking up in Oymyakon begins as an act of courage. The alarm, mechanical of course, goes off in a house built on stilts, its floors heavily insulated and windows triple-paned. Outside, the temperature reads -58 degrees Fahrenheit, -53 degrees Celsius. Residents step outside in thick layers: thermal underwear, woolen sweaters, down coats, fur-lined boots, heavy gloves, and hats that cover their entire faces, all except the eyes framed by ice-capped eyelashes. Each breath paints the world ahead in a cloud of mist, immediately freezing to snowflakes. Children walk to school regardless, bundled and silent, unless the mercury dips below -52 degrees Fahrenheit, -48.9 degrees Celsius, the point at which officials cancel classes. One elderly local recounts the rare jubilation when schools closed at -91 degrees Fahrenheit, allowing kids a brief moment of celebration amid summer heat-like chills. Homes here are marvels of passive engineering. Balancing on wooden stilts prevents melting the underlying permafrost, which would otherwise cause structural collapse. Walls are thick, layered with wool, felt, plastic, sometimes even early synthetics, while triple-glazed windows lock out the cold. Yet despite all this, floors remain icy, so residents fill rooms with thick carpets, propping furniture atop them to create a warmer sanctuary. Central heating is nearly non-existent. Families rely on wood-burning stoves fueled by larch logs. Each household consumes over 100 cubic meters per winter. Kerosene lamps add supplemental warmth and light. Without indoor plumbing, gathering water means placing a pot in the snow outside, returning with frozen ice that melts slowly over the fire. Bathrooms are outhouses, a daily expedition into sub-zero air, a ritual in endurance. Cars are another story. They are treated like valuable mechanical assets, idled continuously or stored in heated garages because shutting them down risks engine failure forever. The notorious Road of Bones, part of the Colima Highway, is peppered with tales of drivers whose engines refuse to restart after mere hours. Inside their cars, they wear thick furs and sleep curled in seats that glow with condensation on every surface. Life in Oymyakon is about adaptation and practicality. Morning routines center around stoves that must be lit immediately to prevent freezing, water boiled for tea or oatmeal, windows checked for frost, and engines fired up before leaving. Children heading to school do so quietly, understanding that silence is warmth and constant motion keeps the cold at bay. Work and survival merge in the fields and forests. Many locals raise reindeer, Yakut cows, and horses in barns kept at -14 to 14 Fahrenheit, -10 to -15 Celsius. One local farmer cares for 47 cows under such conditions, producing meat and milk, supplemented by small pensions and state aid. Reindeer herding continues an ancient tradition, with sleds slipping over frozen rivers and snow-laden paths. Ice fishing shelters dot the rivers, where locals catch fish and store them frozen outdoors, later slicing them ultra-thin for stroganina, a raw, frozen fish delicacy eaten with salt and pepper. A little snow storage called cold cellars is used for meat, milk, and other perishables. Nature's refrigerator in a world where fridges themselves are unreliable. Pine needle tea is a staple beverage, providing much-needed vitamin C and flavor in a region where fresh fruits are rare and expensive. Once in a while, trucks bring in canned goods, potatoes, rice, but not often. Though the nearest major city, Yakutsk, lies 350 miles, 560 kilometers, away, Oymyakon's remote location makes even that journey difficult. In the harshest parts of winter, flight isn't safe, and drivers must endure a 2-day trek across ice, over bridges, past frozen checkpoints, often risking their lives for critical supplies. Healthcare is basic. The local clinic treats ailments and simple injuries, except they don't treat frostbite beyond prevention. Serious cases require airlifts or treacherous ambulance runs in sub-zero fog. Yet fur-lined parkas and stove-warmed homes help keep frost-related deaths low, an impressive feat compared to other icy regions where mortality is high because of inadequate insulation and poor winter preparedness. Mental health might seem like a concern in such darkness and confinement, yet Oymyakonians display a striking resilience. Every year during the darkest weeks, the settlement hosts the Cold Pole Festival, a 3-day celebration honoring Chiskan, the Yakut Lord of Frost. Lanterns light up the night, donning faces with glowing, warm smiles. Reindeer races, sled dog competitions, ice fishing derbies, and folk dances ignite the white canvas. One of the festival's highlights is a 35-mile winter race. The village square features the Bell of Memory, a salute to those who died building grave roads named the Road of Bones. It stands alongside a small museum with first-person artifacts, photos of gulag prisoners, tools buried frozen in ice, embroidered garments, and books. The museum is a cabinet of sorrow and survival, a reminder that extremes come in many forms: climate, politics, ideology. In recent years, climate change has reached Oymyakon. Summers can reach plus 96 degrees Fahrenheit, plus 35.6 degrees Celsius. In July 2022, overnight lows climbed to 95.7 Fahrenheit, a stark contrast to winter lows of minus 89 Fahrenheit, exposing the absurd variability of Siberian weather. Warming permafrost destabilizes infrastructure. Homes sink, roads crack, wildfires torch dry underbrush, and even telephone poles lean askew. Local residents are campaigning for geoclimatic status, hoping to receive funding to insulate homes, install plumbing, improve heating, and prevent abandonment. Despite this, the core of the community remains rooted in tradition. Grandparents teach Yakut language and folklore, combining shamanic rituals with Christian celebrations. Young couples court under snowy porches, families gather for hearty meals around stoves, and children recite poems about snow and sky during annual recitals. Tourists do visit, rarely during winter, but in summer, a trickle of travelers arrive in hearsay-driven pursuit of frost tourism. They ride reindeer sleds, sample ice lanterns, hike on Arctic tundra, and drink hot tea served by local hosts. They bring cameras, but cameras jam in the cold, so they receive loaners lined with foam and heaters to survive the 50+. Even cameras suffer. Life in Oymyakon is brutal, beautiful, honest. There are no handrails, no city lights, no internet cafes. But there are warm stoves, communal bonds, fierce pride, and the annual declaration, "We survived another winter." The act of waking each day, lighting a stove, studying in school, harvesting wood, all become rituals of defiance against darkness, isolation, and frost. To live in Oymyakon is to inhabit a world of extremes. Medical emergencies happen frozen ground. Water freezes in domed kettles. Cars idle. Yet families remain. They plant everything inside their homes. Paper ephemera, ideas, traditions, protected from freeze. They scrabble through the chill, crafting an invisible homestead of culture beneath ice. In this raw landscape, community is survival, and survival is beauty. Oymyakon offers us lessons in resilience wrapped in frosted breath and shared flame. It redefines the meaning of home. It tells legend not of greatness, but of grit, not of conquest, but of comprehension. Where the earth tests humanity, humanity perseveres. This is Ghost of Fact, bringing you deeper into the edges of human experience. We journey not only for shock value, but to understand how people live, connect, imagine, thrive. Surrounded by ice and dark. If this story touched you, hit like and subscribe and explore more of our world's incredible truths, discovered in places least expected. Thanks for braving the cold with me.